We've already seen Lance Armstrong in the centenary tour of 2003 doing a bit of cyclocross through a ploughed field to stay upright and in contention for his 5th consecutive victory. But there were other unexpected sights in that tour. Armstrong dehydrated and losing a minute 36 to Jan Ullrich in the tour's first long time trial, for example.
He will keep his leader's yellow jersey, but he is yet again reminded he is in the toughest scrap of any Tour de France.
And a top 3 separated by only 18 seconds, the tightest race that ever been. Armstrong was in the yellow jersey, but his lead over Ullrich was only 7 seconds going into the last day in the Pyrenees. Not enough to cover him in the event of a repeat performance in the final long time trial on the eve of Paris. So, even as leader, it was up to him to attack and gain time. After some shadow boxing on the early cols, Armstrong, Ullrich and Iban Mayo were together on the ascent to Les Ardennes, with a small group behind them. And the defending champion was setting the pace.
And now it was Iban. Oh, what's happened there? What has happened there? It seemed quite a normal corner. He must have hit somebody in the audience. Mayo has gone. Now the situation. Remember the pair of sword when Ullrich crashed, Armstrong waited. But let's have a look at this now. It still is unclear here exactly what happened.
What had happened was that Armstrong's brake lever had caught in the strap of a souvenir feed bag held by a young fan. Up ahead, Jan Ullrich had slowed, hostilities suspended until the race leader got back in the race, which wasn't as simple as just getting back on his bike.
Oh, what is going on?
There's a problem with his pedals.
And
he has a problem with his pedals.
This is what happened. I think his pedal may have broken. This happened. He didn't hit anybody. Well, it was the problem with his pedals.
It was very strange to see that. He's looking down. He now knows he's got a serious problem. Watch this now.
Well, this is awful.
Digging deep and his foot has just come out and I don't believe how he's managed to keep it upright there.
Armstrong's tour looked like it had been undermined by a strip of fabric held by a fan and his inability to secure his cleat. In fact, the fall had given him a massive surge of adrenaline, and once he'd rejoined the group that had slowed for him, he got some use out of it.
And after all of the problems of the day, Lance Armstrong is now trying to move clear of Iban Mayo, who also seems to have recovered from that fall. Lance Armstrong, at the moment, is really dancing on the pedals now. Well, look at this. On a day when Lance Armstrong could have lost the Tour, he's going to win the stage now. As he punches the line, Lance Armstrong keeps yellow and increases his lead.
Armstrong had extended his lead by 52 seconds after the most dramatic day's racing of the most dramatic Tour for years.
Scared the hell out of me.
In 1987, the year after he'd won his first Tour, Greg LeMond nearly lost his life in a hunting accident. In 1989, lead shot still lodged in his heart lining, among other places. He returned to the race, an achievement in itself. That it should be the most thrilling race in history still takes some believing. Twice LeMond took the yellow jersey, twice Laurent Fignon of France took it off him. Fignon led by 50 seconds going into the final day in Paris, traditionally a procession for the race winner. But in '89, the organisers had made the final stage a time trial. Fignon rode a standard time trial bike. LeMond, the innovator, used extension bars for a more aerodynamic position. Still, few people thought he could make up 50 seconds over 24.5 kilometres, except LeMond himself.
This race is not over, believe me.
Thank you, Greg.
Very good.
Okay, Greg. Good luck, man.
But whoever wins this Tour de France today, they are both winners, whichever way you look at it. Greg LeMond or Laurent Fignon, they are both winners today of this Tour de France. There's the cheers. Laurent Fignon is on his way up, and there he is, while Greg LeMond is on his way down.
Phil, it's coming through now. It's 40 seconds deficit for Laurent Fignon.
Just 10 seconds between these two men in the Tour de France. 10 small seconds holding them apart for the winner's yellow jersey and a prize of £150,000. Neither of them now thinking of the winner's prize. They are thinking of the two greatest athletes in this year's Tour de France and in the world of cycling are battling out now a point of honour, a point of pride for the greatest finish in the Tour de France. Paul.
Phil, it's 48 seconds now with 3 kilometres to go for Laurent Fignon. The gap is 48 seconds. Phil, this is the most incredible thing I think I've ever seen in my life.
Greg LeMond is riding to the yellow jersey in the Tour de France as Jan Janssen did 21 years ago. Greg LeMond now surely is going to win this Tour de France by 5 seconds. This is Pedro Delgado. Greg LeMond is catching him, not for 1 minute, but for 2 minutes. Greg LeMond, Delgado will now finish over 4.5 minutes behind in this year's Tour de France.
Not only that, Phil, but he's going to also win the stage, I think, because look at that time. He's taken 30 seconds off Thierry Marie, 26.57. He goes into top place. We've got 2 minutes and 50 seconds now to wait for Laurent Fignon to arrive.
Fignon, we know, is not going to match the time of Le Mans. He's won his second big time trial in the Tour de France this year. It's going to be his most important. 50 seconds after that time of 26.57 is what Laurent Fignon must do now as he comes home. We're beginning the countdown as the crowd lean forward and Fignon suffers all kinds of hell out there now. He could be losing the Tour de France by the blink of an eyelid on his own doorstep. 44, 45, 47 and Fignon has lost the Tour de France. As Greg, I think it's far 27, 47. The excitement is overcoming even me now as Fignon gets the entourage. He's now within a minute of the line, the long length of the Tour de France down to the finish. It must seem like an eternity.
Well, Fignon's got 43 seconds to do it, Phil. It seems like an awful long way. He's given everything. Look at that armada of motorbikes behind him. It's just going to be on the line, Phil. It's going to be 1 or 2 seconds either way. I really don't know what. It's incredible.
So the Tour de France comes down to the climax it always threatened it would be. These two men have been Siamese twins throughout the race. Now the cord is broken and it looks like Greg LeMond might, but look at the finish by Fignon. They're all turned off. It's going to be close. 27.47 he must do. The clock is counting down, so are the meters to the line. This is going to be incredible. Fignon is bouncing off the barriers here. He's lost the Tour de France. The crowd has realised it. Laurent Fignon has lost the Tour de France. Right on the line as he comes over. 55 seconds is countdown. He has lost the Tour de France by 8 seconds. Can you believe that? Laurent Fignon has lost the Tour and Greg LeMond has won it.
It was the fastest time trial in history, the smallest margin of victory, and the greatest Tour moment. Although perhaps not for Laurent Fignon.
Oh, he said congratulations, but what can you say? If I was in his shoes, I would be very upset to lose the Tour de France by 8 seconds.
Who knows, there may eventually be a Tour de France won and lost by a single second, at which point we reserve the right to come back and re-edit this programme. For now though, 8 seconds after 3 weeks and 3,285 kilometres will do pretty well. And after an hour's worth of moments, here's another minute's worth to play out with. Hope you've enjoyed them. Thanks for watching.
Let yourself down. Don't let yourself go. Your last chance has arrived.